Hi, this is Jacques from MakuluLinux. In this little how-to tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install the new KDE version. So when you boot up in live mode, you're going to get to the login screen, and you pretty much this is what you're going to see. So you're going to select live session user. The password is blank, so you just hit enter. And I am in VirtualBox, so just give it a second to load. It's now booting up into the live environment. This will allow me to install it onto my system. Now this tutorial is for new users, so I'm not going to go into the advanced settings at all. I'm just going to show it as a person who really doesn't have a lot of knowledge and doesn't know how to install Makulu, or doesn't know how to install Linux. Basically, these are the guys that will be watching this video. Okay. Just want to make sure that the system's fully loaded. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so you're gonna get this. You're gonna get to your desktop. You're obviously gonna play around and mess around and whatever the case might be. But once you're done with all of that and you decide you want to install it, there is the install icon. Just double click that icon on the desktop. This will bring up the installer window. Just give it a second to load. It's doing a whole lot of detecting. Here we go. It's gonna pop up. And your first window, you'll see here, you'll be asked what your language is. I'm going to leave it English. I'm English. So you set your language there. If you want to read the release notes, that link simply links to the Makulu website. You'll still have to go into the subcategory of whichever version you want to read, but that links to Makulu website. So if you want to go check out release notes, you can just clicking that link. So select English, continue. Okay, next window, it tells me I need at least 8.3 gigs of available space. That is not swap space as well, that's actual hard, because remember you've got to have a swap space as well. That's hard drive space. So I would say you need at least about 10 gigs of free disk space to install MakuluLinux. Make sure it's plugged into a power source and is connected to the internet. It's detected all three. Okay, downloading while updates while installing, tick that. And then install third-party software, tick that. Continue. Okay. Okay, it tells me installer has detected the following disks have been mounted, the following partitions have been mounted, blah blah blah. If you get this pop-up, don't stress. It just means that the volume it wants to install onto is already mounted and it needs to be unmounted to be able to install to that volume. So you just go yes to unmount. Very simple. Don't stress about it. Okay, on the next window, this is where you would actually partition. Now, if you just want to install Makulu and have it assign the drive space automatically, you would just leave it there on erase disk and install MakuluLinux. And if you click install now, it will just pop up, are you sure, blah blah blah, and you say yes, and that's done. If you want to encrypt for installation security, tick that. Use LVM, tick that. If you don't know either, leave them. If you want to do something else, click here. But I've got to warn you, by creating your own partitions and stuff, it gets a little bit more advanced. Okay, so as a new user, you don't really know much, I would just leave it as erase disk and install MakuluLinux. Just leave it on the first option. Click install now, and it will say if you continue with changes, blah 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 blah, and you click continue. So if you click continue here, it will go to the next screen. It will actually partition your hard drive all automatically for you. There's nothing you have to do. It's all done automatically. It will, however, that whole partition will be erased and auto partitioned. On the next screen, you got to choose your location. I'm in Johannesburg. Okay, if you're somewhere else, let's say you're somewhere in America, you can choose there Chicago. You just point the pin on the map to where you are. Okay, I'm in Johannesburg, so I select Johannesburg, click continue, and on the next screen, select your keyboard layout, English South Africa, English. It's already detected, so I click continue. Now it's asking my name. My name is Jacques, so I'll put in Jacques. It's computer name. I'll put there test is fine. Pick a username, Jacques. Password, blah. It's got to be at least a minimum of 6 letters. I'm just going to make 6 X's for now, since this is just for testing. Obviously make sure that your password is much stronger. In this case I'm just using 6 X's for testing. And here you can set you want to log in automatically, which means you don't have to enter your password. Require password at login. Encrypt home folder. I wouldn't worry about encrypting my home folder too much unless you're one of those security freaks. But the login, it's up to you. If you want to constantly type in your password before you log in, select that. Otherwise select login automatically. Okay, click continue. And that's it. Now it will start installing MakuluLinux. This installation will take about 10-15 minutes in total. It will now copy over all the files, set up all the permissions. It will do apt cache update, which is probably what takes the longest on this installation. And I am on a slow internet line, so that takes about a few minutes on its own. It will also detect your hardware and should install quite a few of the drivers all automatically. Once the installation is done, I'm just going to go into the menu here. The system might be a little slow because it's busy copying in the background. I would go to settings, additional drivers. I would go there after installation just to go check that all your drivers are installed. You can also open up your system settings, which is in the top here. You can also go into system settings and choose additional drivers from there, driver manager, and then just make sure that all your drivers are installed. That's always the first thing you should do after installation. And once that's done, then that's it. MakuluLinux is installed, and you're basically ready for use. So I'm just gonna, I want to actually go through this whole process so that you guys can see that everything's fully functional and what actually all takes place. But yeah, it says almost finished copying files. This will take about a minute or two. Actually, when this stage is finished, it goes very quickly. So just bear in mind. I'm actually making a series of videos, so I'm going to be covering a whole variety of topics. This obviously is in this installation. I've already made the styling, theming and effects. I will go through a software video as well to show some software. I'll probably make a one on the browser as well, or what's been done on the browser and how it all works together. But yeah, there we go. Configure apt, keyboard, it's creating the user. Configuring target system, checking hardware, loading modules, configuring more hardware. Now during the configure hardware, you get a pop-up saying please reboot. You want to reboot now or later. Just minimize that. That's actually checking software updates. You can actually minimize that as well. Don't stress about that window, just close it. You can do software updates after or manual updates after the system is installed. This is usually at about 65%. It usually just sits here for a minute or two while configuring hardware, and after that it runs through very quickly. So it's not really a very long install process, you know. It's what, 10 minutes, not even. I don't even think it's 10 minutes in total. There we go, installing system, configuring bootloader, running grub, update grub, extra, checking packages, removing installer, post installation triggers, restoring previously installed packages. There we go, done. Installation has finished. You can now continue testing. You can continue with testing MakuluLinux now, but until you restart the computer, any changes you make or documents you save will not be preserved. Continue testing or restart now. Okay, so you click restart now. There we go. VirtualBox is going to shut down. I'm just going to speed it up if I can. Yes, force unmount. Then reset just to make it quicker. And system boot up. And there we go. I think I chose auto login, so it should automatically log into the system. If I had chose to require the details at login, it would have then gone to back to the check gray screen, and I would have had to put in my password. It will allow you to select user from a list, but you have to put in your password. And there we go, we booted into the system. Very easy, just a couple of steps, self-explanatory. Only things to really watch out for is the partitioning part. Either if you're new, just choose erase disk. If you're not new, you can go something else at the bottom, play with that. And of course, during installation, when you get to the configuring hardware, round about that section you might get a couple of pop-ups. If you get them, just close or minimize them, let the installation finish, and then that's it. Once you're into the system, you can then go to your settings manager, and you can go down to driver manager and just run that. That will pop up, and just give it a second. And usually here it will show you your current driver installed, and it will also show a recommended driver that you can set for your system if there are any updates. This usually takes like a well, on a fast internet connection it'll take quicker. On my internet connection it takes a while, though. It's one of the disadvantages of South Africa. Everything is bloody slow in this country, so just give that a second. Anyway, so that's for driver update. Of course the system update will probably pop up just now as well, and then of course I can do system updates, and then of course you got a whole fully functional system. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay, well this might just take a while now, because I think it's actually doing the whole apt cache update first and everything else. I'm just gonna stop this and close, because I don't want to make this video any longer. But you get the idea. So yeah, that's pretty much installation from start to finish. I did it in just a few minutes. I actually spoke longer than the installation almost. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Cheers.